All right, before I get back to the callers, and yes, Lions are the appetizer, the entree, they're everything. I get it. David, you told me you have, is it breaking news? Is it an update? What is it here? Oh, Jesus. Okay, what now?
All right, Mike, in the water is wet category, statement from Michigan State University. Alan Howler today released a statement saying, I, with the support of the administration and board, have provided Mel Tucker with written notice of intent to terminate his contract for cause, meaning MSU is in the process of firing Mel Tucker.
Okay, so what does that mean
Great question.
I didn't mean to put you on. I didn't mean to put you on blast there, brother. I'm sorry.
Well, no,
it was the first thing I thought of.
Also says this action does not conclude the ongoing offensive civil rights case, and the rigorous process will continue. So that sounds like everything else will continue.
Basically, yeah, it sounds like even if you're found not guilty, Mel, you're not coming back.
Which, okay, so
water's wet.
Well, let me do this before we go to the calls and callers. I promise we're coming to you. But can I just take a few moments on something?
Sure.
I never expected to beat Washington. And I know Lions fans' pain is priority today, but if you're a Spartan fan and a Lion fan, my advice would be quit sports after this past weekend. But you know what really angered me? It wasn't losing. It was that Saturday on Front Street was proof of what some people said all along. And while I'm not in the business of apologizing for opinions, I want to at least acknowledge something. That even if they were wrong at the time, they ended up being right. I think Saturday proved Mel Tucker's the biggest con artist in the history of college football. Because Saturday is what 4 years of you building your program
looked like.
Was on display, and that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
It was a quarterback who should probably be playing at Central because he's tiny. It was a MAC-level O-line with $1 million O-line coach. It's no receivers I care about. It's a defense. You have a couple of grifters as coordinators. Jay Johnson's a bum, and Scotty Hazelton, I have an idea. Let me take the same game plan I had last year when Michael Penix murdered me, and let's run it back, y'all. We got a defensive line that can't rush the passer. We got linebackers who are instructed not to reroute receivers in zone coverage and just let it roll. And we got a collection of guys on the back end who still can't communicate. 4 years in, 2 top 20 paid coordinators who are straight up grifters, bad actors, con men. And what really angered me was losing is fine, but you got to put the players in a position to have a chance. Jay Johnson, I swear to God, you try to make your quarterback look like a bleep hole. Mm-hmm. No ability to just get the QB in a rhythm, get comfortable. I have an idea. Let's do a bunch of slow developing run plays with a bad O-line. And Hazelton, Rico, I'm going to tell you something. Scotty Hazelton hit the Powerball of coaching because he has now had 3 straight secondaries that rank outside the top 100 in America, and he's still employed. There are no schematic changes. There's no technique changes. There's nothing. Michael Penix could have gone out there without a helmet, pads, and potentially pants and thrown for 400 yards in a half. It is Mel Tucker, honest to God, for those of you who called him the finesse king, the con man, you're right. You were right. You were right all along because you know what he built? This is what angers me. Let me really land the plane for you. This is what really angered me Saturday. What he built in 4 years was nothing. It was a complete and utter mirage. Nothing. A talentless team of players who looked like they didn't want to be there. But then again, if I was forced to run these schemes, or every time I made a play I got yanked out of the game, well, maybe I'd quit too.
You know what, Mike? You took us to church, so you deserve this.
F Mel Tucker. Shundala!
Mike, I couldn't agree with you more. I'm sitting there. Here's the thing. This wasn't a game where the players quit. The players were put in a bad spot. They really were looking to the sideline saying, is this all we have? You're right. Nothing changed since the last year. Michael Penix could have had 600-plus yards and 7 touchdowns if he wanted to. They took the second half off. They only scored 6 points in the second half. That was it. Because they were done, they were tired, they had packed up, and they were getting ready to head to their next opponent because you were not even a blip on their radar. You were so easy. You were an open practice. You were a Division III team to them. They didn't have to sweat. I mean, the fact that they ran a fake spike, I don't know why they ran that play. They should have saved it.
I'm glad they did.
But
I'm glad they did.
That play right there was like that was the utter lack of respect that, wow.
You know what? I like it, though, because some of the pinheads that run that university need to be shamed. Let it burn.
It shows
Put a baby.
Here's the beauty of it. And you know what? If you want to hear more, here's my plug. Listen to the pod that I did because I really went into depth on – no, because, Mike – I learned you know what? You don't do a pod right after the game. You wait 24 hours so you're not emotional. Still felt the same. That showed you what a top 10 team looks like and how far away you are from that. And the most embarrassing thing is watching the highlights from the 2013 team and then looking over at this team and you're like, okay, wow, we've sunk this low in 10 years. Bottom of the chili pot.
Honestly, Tuck and his 2 coordinators – all-time grifters.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? And I'll apologize to everybody who said it was only Kenneth Walker that did that for you. You were right. You were right. It was Kenneth Walker.
They weren't right then, but they're right now.
Yeah.
So, hey, by hook or by crook, they were right. I just, that's what bummed me out. So, look, here's the deal. They could screw it up. They might get it right. I don't care. The reality is, if they're not serious about this, if you're not in it to win it in college football today, you're Rutgers. Yeah. And newsflash, I don't care. I think anybody, honest to God, if you are a ticket holder or a donor, here's my unsolicited advice to you. See what they're going to do with this hire. And if they're not serious about this and they're not going to pay top 15 money to go get a coach and they do the safe and sound and the cheap, or God help us if this idiotic, talk about grifters, BOT gets involved, do yourself a favor. Go take the money you were going to donate. Go take your family on vacation.
Mm-hmm. Or just go down to the local casino and put it all on black and you probably get better results.
Oh, Wesley Snipes?
Yeah. Mike.
Always bet on black.
I mean, because it's funny you say top 15. With the playoffs expanding to 12 teams making it, if you're in the top 15, it means you're always in the running every year. You may not make the playoffs, but at least you give your fans something to look forward to. If you're not, and the best you want to do is 8-4, do yourself a favor and you know what? Go leave and go join a Group of 5 conference because –
No, but that's the whole thing. You know what? Hey, media market beard. The only people who benefit from these TV deals, it's not the fans, not the donors, it's the schools. Mm-hmm. And it's not even the players. The players don't see that money. You can't pay them. Okay, the school's got the money. Make a decision whether you want to be all in or all out. Mm-hmm. Once you make that decision, then I'll let you know if I still care.
Right.
Because I'll tell you right now, I am as done as dinner.
Yeah, because if you're sitting up there waiting on Ishbia or St. Andre, you got Big Ten money coming in, guaranteed every year. You got enough to pay the coach. Now, I don't know what you do with that money, but that's not my concern. You need to go lock up a top coach who can walk in the door and fix this thing instantly. Don't give me the whole give you 3-4 years. Hey, this ain't 2010 anymore. This is 2023 where if you get the right person, because if you do, Mike, donors, boosters, everybody shows up and says, take my money. Please, take whatever you want.
Right. They won't get it right. You know they won't get it right. I'm just done. Let me see the list of people they might interview. Oh, maybe they'll hire another one of those, another grift, these search committees. Here, pay me.
Right.
I'll be your search committee. What committee recommended this guy?
Butch Jones, online too.
Oh, go to hell. Will you please? Hey, by the way, got more good news for Spartans. Iowa's now a night game.
Yep, 7:30 kickoff on NBC.
Michigan 100, State 3. And I don't even care anymore. I'm right back to 06. I'm opening the Spite store.
Yeah. I mean,
these scones are dry. I hope the team loses by 1,000 at this point because the people at that school need to wake the F up. I feel bad for the kids.
I think we all saw the Washington thing, Mike. I think the anger and the angst will come. It's homecoming. It's Maryland. And if Maryland does what Washington just did with Tulea Tagovailoa, I think everybody's going to be checked out saying when's Midnight Madness.
Is it possible for an interim coach to fire a coordinator, or is that considered
Somebody asked me that question, and you know what? I think it's one where he can, but he would have to run it past Allen because he's the athletic director.
I want you to run this up the ladder. Run this up the ladder for me right now. David, tell me if he's holding his phone. Run this up the ladder. Type this into your phone right now under Big Daddy Howler. I know that's how it's entered in your phone. I want you to write the following. Allen, Booby, Baby, launch Scotty Hazelton into space now.
See, that's
now.
That's not the one that I would put launch into space.
Then get rid of whoever. Then duct tape him to whoever you want to launch.
Okay, because Mike, plan A, we're going to try to run the ball, control the clock. And when plan A doesn't work, plan B is, okay, we're in a shootout with Michael Penix. Michael Penix has had 1,400 yards and 13 touchdowns in his career against Michigan State. He's pretty good, okay? Those are real numbers. I'm not making them up or exaggerating. You're down 28-0, and you're still trying to run the ball up the middle. And it's like, are you not even trying anymore?
Listen, how about this? Here's what we do. Yeah. You take Jay Johnson's face and you put it on a Velcro, and you put Hazelton's face, and we attach it to a wheel. Spin the wheel, and wherever it lands, just fire that person. I don't even care anymore. I don't even care.
Yeah.
Have David, take a straw poll. I don't care. Have Alan Haller go to Twitter. Just start firing people. Have Ernie the Can Man be the DC. Have that idiot dressed as a Spartan standing in the top row of the stadium calling the plays.
Oh,
I feel for the kids. I do.
I did.
Ultimately, whatever.
They looked as if they were waiting for some guidance, and the guidance never came. They did not quit. I will say that. They played.
I mean, some of the tackling looked otherwise, but okay.
Well, I mean, that was a top 10 team, and once again, you saw that you were far from a top 10. Washington made you look like Richmond. That's what
Does
happened.
Mel Tucker go down second only to Muddy Waters?
No, I think Bobby's up there too, and John L.
Yeah, but John L. had an elite offense, and you understand what he was doing.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, worst defensive coordinator, Chris Smealand or Scotty Hazelton? Here's an idea. Put them both in a kayak and drill a hole in it.
How about Scotty Smealand?
Wow. Maybe Chris Smealand's hiding in Scotty's beard like a tick. So there's your 7 minutes of MSU today because it's all about the Lions. But David baited me into it.
What? I baited you in it. I do.
You did it because Rico hit the Holy Ghost drop. Now, I know what you did here. There was no reason for this updated news. We could have just kept talking Lions.
Well, no, it was breaking at the time. So, we want our listeners to know everything that's going on.
You just hate to see it.
Oh, I mean, David, ultimately, you've worked with me long enough. I don't care. Say whatever you're going to say. Burn it to the ground at this point. I don't care. Yeah, I'm just making a point. If this team is going to play that way, and that's the product, Tucker's an all-time con man, and I seriously would question whether I'm going to be involved with it anymore. If you're one of these donors, make your voice heard, and you better tell them, get serious about getting a real coach in here and a real NIL program. I don't want to see this Etsy store selling T-shirts. And if you're not, well, then we're taking the family to Thailand.
Mike, let's keep it timely. Oh, trust me, we got more, folks. We'll just give that to you tomorrow.